Howdy folks, welcome to Final Fantasy Friday here at Rudros Entertainment. This week, we are taking a look at a bunch of old legends that were quite formidable in their prime, but have fallen off in recent years. What caused them to disappear? Let's find out. Here are my top 10 amazing legends that no longer see play. Honorable mention number 1, Tidus from Opus 1. The special on this card set the tone for what specials could be in this game. A perfect balance of difficult to achieve but insanely rewarding. This card made me want to build around it, and it actually felt like I was using the overdrive from the game. Honorable mention 2, Rinoa from Opus 6. One of the many cards that must have inspired Amaterasu, Rinoa was one of the few ways to abuse the same entry effect multiple times when it came out. Purely unfair and never fun to be on the receiving end of. It has since fallen out of favor with many counters to Rinoa directly, as well as more ways to destroy her target, which caused the entire effect to fizzle. She does still see very select use in lists like Kirin or Verstale, hence keeping her off this list proper. Number 10, Rain from Opus 10. She only had one reign of dominance, get it? But the impression she made on the Opus 19 worlds and Opus 10 as a whole was undeniable. World of Final Fantasy, or WoF, was never seen before this card released, and Rain brought back every WoF card from before her to her playground. That turns out old cards are quite good when you give them haste and a 4K ping on top of their own text. Rain becoming completely free with enough characters made the deck low to the ground cost and frankly bonkers. Sadly, for the category, it died within one set due to the prevalence of Braska's Final Aeon being an insane punish for all those mandatory pings. Number 9, Ritz, Opus 11. With her partner Marsh, Ritz was an insane power boost to nearly every deck she was in. Despite having all the text of a wind card, she was most commonly played in Earth and Fire, as March allowed her to be played and instantly online without ever needing wind CP to cast her. Throw in the new backup Lilty, allowing you to instantly find her, and the consistency of this combo was bonkers. The on-attack trigger refunded you the CP it cost to play the combo, and at damage 3 or later, a Ritz on demand threatened to end the game on the spot by being unblockable. Value on value on value, but the card disappeared within one set, largely due to Amaterasu destroying both her and Marsh, and likely a desire to play with the all-new powerful multi-element cards. Number 8, Braska's Final Aeon, Opus 11. Fire was considered a joke for a long time in the early opus of the game, but nobody was laughing when Braska's Final Aeon, or BFA, made his debut. If your opponent had a forward on the board when BFA came down, they were going to lose one. Turning Dataluma's damage up to 10, BFA demanded to be dealt with lest he kill anything on your board with every single attack. But by trying to deal with Braska's, you also would be punished and lose your forwards. A powerful follow-up to a March Ritz turn off of the Ritz refund, BFA was an absolute menace. Combined with the new rule change about how the Minwu effect worked, any previous protection effects were rendered null and void in the face of this monster. Amaterasu put him in his place in the next set, preventing the 10k while also not triggering the revenge effect, but he still sees random play in modern times due to his often overlooked action ability from hand. Number 7, Agrias from Opus 7. The first of our legends to last more than one set, Agrias was a crazy fun build-around card. It looks pedantic and tame compared to the modern power of Opus 21 Warrior of Light. But back in the day, this card was a much-desired turn 1, just jam it out. You could hit an Alua and step on the gas, or hit a strong backup and take your time to curve out. There was little answer to this knight, especially so early in the game. Agrias inspired a lot of different deck builds with different colors and goals. She started to disappear once Opus 10 came out, as the deck could be bricky, and there were more and more consistent options to go with. Number 6, Fina from Opus 8. A dominant showing at Worlds 2019, Fina was the original Luso board wipe combo. Much more expensive, although much of the cost could be refunded. And needing help from her buddy Valifor, this 8k board combo was the bread and butter of Wind and Wind-Water decks since her debut, leaving a sizable 9k body behind, potentially reactivating all your characters for even more shenanigans. Fina finally disappeared after Opus 11 as folks found other combos that were cheaper and newer. Number 5. Wool from Opus 5. To quote Midgarblog, Wool is the gold standard for an 8k beater. Any deck running Earth after Opus 5 was going to have at least one Wool. With less removal in the format, it was a near guarantee that you would get your attack phase trigger. The most reliable way to ignore targeting EX bursts, a power bump, Brave to keep up your defenses, and even the 3k Dull came up sometimes. Ida in Scions, anybody? Wool was versatile, reliable, and always a help on the battlefield. While not the must-answer threat of an Opus 4 Dataluma or an Opus 4 Lock, the amount of value Wool gave you could not be underestimated. The card had a slow trickle to obscurity, but fell out of favor more formally when Dataluma was banned. It did have a resurgence as a, hey, no burst can stop me, part of the Riku Mione Infinite Loop deck. Number 4, Cloud of Darkness from Opus 5. Darkness comes to claim this land. I gleefully expressed this every time I dropped Cloud of Darkness on my opponent. Part of the incredible Layla Viking combo in Opus 6, Cloud of Darkness was a brutal piece of removal. Encouraging you to build a large board, Cloud often deleted a character on entry and then pushed through any potential blockers with each subsequent attack. Nowadays, the card would fall prey to Amaterasu and forward removal on the stack, making her inefficient and outdated. You needed 4 forwards on resolution to kill an 8k, but in her prime, she was a powerful piece of removal for any Water or Water X deck. Opus 9 Porum gave her a great board piece, but Valifor Fina and the WAF removal of Opus 10 kicked the card to the curb. Number 3, Genesis from Opus 3. The card with the longest tenure on this list, Genesis has demanded a place in every ice deck for his lengthy run from Opus 3 until around Opus 11. A brutal component of the dreaded turbo discard days of Opus 5 and 6, Genesis knocked out your best forward and threatened to keep your hand low with every attack. An ice card designed to perfection, or perhaps overpowered, depending on your view, this 4-cost 7k had instant pressure and continued advantage. He required no combo pieces and was a one-man wrecking crew. Discard as a feature slowed down heavily after Opus 7 until about Opus 15, and Genesis himself gave his final farewell when Amaterasu appeared. A one-time dull freeze on a single forward also became weaker as stronger and cheaper pieces were added into the game. Number 2, Sephiroth from Opus 7. Sephiroth! The bane of my existence when I started playing, Sephiroth was a game unto himself. With the insane special Shadow Flare, it was incredibly common for Sephiroth to take your entire hand of 4+ cards the turn he arrived. To add salt in the wounds, he also dull froze any forwards in his way if you stayed on 0 cards in hand. Earth's Recursion was a popular partner to abuse the Shadow Flare special. When it debuted, there was very little counterplay to the card, and you were often better off expending anything from your hand to kill him on the stack than holding on to your last 2 and just hoping that they didn't have the special follow-up. And spoiler alert, they always had the special follow-up. The card was a terror until Opus 11 when the speed of the game was ramping up that it was easier to recover on low hand values. And Amaterasu put the nail in the coffin as it has done with so many others. The card does see occasional play in decks like Verstale or 1-cost Water Leo where it fits a certain strategy, or it can be played for free. Number 1, Diabolos from Opus 5. Our third candidate from Opus 5 shows just what a powerful set that was. It was often said around Opus 9 and 10 that Diabolos was so strong it would never fall out of favor. Oh, how things have changed. A must-of in any win deck from Opus 5 to 11, Diabolos was an insane reward for decks that got to 5 backups. With the full backup reactivation effect, this seemingly expensive summon of 5 cost suddenly became free, as well as putting the screws to any forward on the board. 4 cost or less? Meh, make it weak. All your forwards get dull and frozen? Stand them back up. Any 5 costs or higher? Please. This card was so oppressive and powerful that any forward that debuted at cost 5 or higher in that time frame had to have insane instant value because it, quote, died to Diabolos. The versatility of this card was unmatched, and many called for it to have a ban in its heyday. But, to the surprise of many, it just disappeared. Unlike all the forwards on this list that suffered against Amaterasu, I'm not 100% sure why Diabolos disappeared. Games did get more aggressive and ended quicker, so it wasn't as easy to always get to 5 backups. Mist Dragon also did give a way to counter it directly, but that didn't stop it from crushing its way through Opus 9 and 10. Maybe the new value win cards like Ritz and Chocobo just move the element in a different direction? I can't say for sure, but I can say that this card was on another level when it was in its prime. And that's it. The 10 legends of old. Did I leave something off the list? Something on here you disagree with? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for more FF videos just like this every Friday. We're so close to 1,000 subs, and your help in reaching that goal is greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, take care.